The Shadow of Lake Tahoe. Prologue, The Disappearance. In the summer of 1998, Lake Tahoe's serene beauty was marred by the sudden disappearance of Emily Parker, a local college student. Emily was last seen hiking alone near the densely forested slopes of Mount Talek, a popular but challenging trail. Her disappearance sparked a massive search operation, but despite extensive efforts, no trace of her was found. Chapter 1. The Encounter. Years passed, and the mystery of Emily Parker's disappearance faded into local legend. However, in the fall of 2007, a seasoned hiker named Jack Stevens reported a chilling encounter that reignited interest in the case. Jack had ventured deep into the forest, off the beaten path, seeking solitude and adventure. It was late afternoon, and the forest was unusually silent. As he made his way through a particularly dense section of trees, Jack noticed a peculiar stillness in the air. The chirping of birds and the rustling of leaves had ceased, replaced by an eerie quiet. Suddenly, he heard a series of low, guttural grunts coming from behind him. Turning slowly, Jack caught a glimpse of a massive, dark figure moving swiftly between the trees. His heart pounded as he realized the figure was not a bear, but something far more unsettling. It stood upright, towering at least 8 feet tall, covered in dark, matted hair. The creature's eyes, deep and penetrating, locked onto Jack's, and in that moment, he felt a primal fear he had never experienced before. The creature let out a deafening roar that echoed through the forest, sending Jack fleeing in terror. Chapter 2. The Search for Evidence. Jack's account was met with skepticism, but it intrigued a small group of local cryptid enthusiasts. Among them was Dr. Karen Mitchell, an anthropologist who had spent years studying folklore and unexplained phenomena. Determined to uncover the truth, Karen organized an expedition into the forest where Jack had his encounter. Armed with high-tech equipment and accompanied by a team of researchers, Karen ventured deep into the heart of the Tahoe wilderness. They set up motion-activated cameras, audio recorders, and even scent traps in hopes of capturing evidence of the elusive creature. One chilly evening, as the team reviewed their recordings, they stumbled upon something extraordinary. One of the cameras had captured a fleeting image of a large bipedal figure covered in hair. The footage was blurry, but it clearly showed the creature moving with a grace and speed that ruled out any known animal. Additionally, audio recordings picked up strange vocalizations, a series of whoops and howls that defied explanation. The team's findings garnered significant media attention, and soon the area was swarming with journalists, scientists, and curious onlookers. Karen, however, remained focused on her mission. She believed that the creature they had glimpsed was connected to the numerous Bigfoot sightings reported across North America. As the search continued, Karen made a startling discovery. Deep within the forest, she found a hidden cave adorned with crude drawings depicting large, ape-like creatures. The drawings, seemingly ancient, showed the creatures interacting with humans, hunting, and even mourning their dead. Among the drawings was a haunting image of a young woman being taken by one of the creatures. Realizing the potential connection to Emily Parker's disappearance, Karen shared her findings with local authorities. The cave was meticulously examined, and forensic experts discovered human remains buried beneath the cave floor. DNA analysis confirmed the remains belonged to Emily Parker, solving the mystery of her disappearance after nearly a decade. The revelation sent shockwaves through the community and beyond. While the discovery of Emily's remains brought closure to her family, it also raised more questions than it answered. What was the true nature of the creature that roamed the forests of Lake Tahoe? How many more such beings existed, hidden from human eyes? To this day, the shadow of Bigfoot lingers over Lake Tahoe. Hikers and campers occasionally report strange noises and fleeting glimpses of a massive, hairy figure among the trees. Some dismiss these as mere fantasies, while others believe they are glimpses of a hidden world, one where the boundaries between myth and reality blur. The legend of Bigfoot lives on, a testament to the enduring mysteries of the natural world and the unknown that lies just beyond the edge of our understanding. The Sasquatch of Mount St. Helens. Prologue, the logging camp. In the early 1920s, Washington state was a rugged frontier, with dense forests and towering mountains that seemed to stretch endlessly. It was in these remote, untamed areas that the logging industry thrived, and men came from all over seeking work and adventure. One such place was a logging camp near Mount St. Helens, a volcanic peak known for its imposing presence and the eerie stories whispered among the loggers. In the spring of 1924, a logger named Albert Osman set out to explore the area around the camp. Albert was a seasoned outdoorsman, familiar with the wildlife and the lay of the land. However, nothing could have prepared him for what he encountered that fateful day. As Albert trekked through the dense forest, he noticed the usual sounds of nature had ceased, the birds were silent, and even the rustling of small animals in the underbrush was absent. Suddenly he heard heavy footsteps behind him. Turning quickly, he saw a massive, hairy figure standing about 50 yards away. The creature was unlike anything he had ever seen, tall, muscular, and covered in dark fur. Its face, though partially obscured by the distance, appeared almost human but with pronounced brow ridges and deep-set eyes. Albert stood frozen in shock as the creature regarded him silently before turning and disappearing into the forest. He rushed back to the camp to recount his encounter, but his story was met with skepticism and nervous laughter. Yet, some of the older loggers exchanged uneasy glances, as if recalling old tales they had heard before. A few weeks after Albert's encounter, the men at the camp began to notice strange occurrences. Tools and supplies would go missing, and they often found large footprints in the mud around the camp. The footprints were far too large to belong to any man, and the loggers started to grow uneasy. One night, the tension reached its peak. A group of loggers was sitting around the campfire, sharing stories and trying to shake off their nerves. Suddenly, a series of blood-curdling screams echoed through the forest, followed by the sound of trees snapping and heavy footsteps approaching. The men grabbed their rifles and aimed toward the darkness. Without warning, a massive creature charged into the clearing, knocking over tents and scattering the loggers. The beast was enormous, towering over the men and moving with incredible speed and strength. It swung its massive arms, sending logs and debris flying. The loggers fired their rifles, but the bullets seemed to have little effect on the creature. After what felt like an eternity, the beast retreated back into the forest, leaving the camp in chaos. The attack left the men shaken and determined to rid the area of the terrifying creature. A group of loggers, led by Albert, organized a hunt to track down and kill the beast. Armed with rifles, and accompanied by a few brave volunteers from a nearby town, they ventured deep into the wilderness. For days, they followed the creature's trail, finding more enormous footprints and signs of its passage. They set up traps and kept watch through the nights, but the beast remained elusive. One night, while on patrol, Albert and his team heard a series of low, guttural growls. They followed the sound to a small clearing where they finally caught sight of the creature. The beast stood at the edge of the clearing, illuminated by the moonlight. It seemed to regard the men with a mixture of curiosity and caution. Albert raised his rifle, but something in the creature's eyes gave him pause. They were intelligent, almost human, and filled with a deep, primal sadness. Before Albert could react, the creature turned and vanished into the forest, leaving the men in stunned silence. The loggers never saw the creature again, but the story of the Sasquatch of Mount St. Helens spread throughout the region. While many dismissed it as a tall tale, those who were there knew what they had seen. The attack on the logging camp was a turning point, marking one of the earliest documented encounters with Bigfoot in Washington state. In the years that followed, more sightings were reported, and the legend of Bigfoot grew. Researchers and enthusiasts flocked to the area, seeking evidence of the elusive creature. Despite numerous expeditions and countless hours of searching, concrete proof remained elusive. Yet the stories persisted, passed down through generations, each one adding to the rich tapestry of the Bigfoot legend. The encounter near Mount St. Helens remains one of the most compelling tales of Bigfoot in the early 20th century. It serves as a reminder of the mysteries that still lurk in the remote corners of our world and the enduring allure of the unknown. Thanks for visiting and supporting my channel. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications.